Hey guys, I'm Monica Lee.
And I'm Benjamin Yang.
One of the most frequent questions asked about Taiwan would be, is Taiwan a part of China?
And the answer to that question would be a yes. Technically, Taiwan is a part of China, but the China here refers to the Republic of China instead of the People's Republic of China, which now most countries recognize as China.
This might sound pretty confusing, but we're here to break it down for you.
Historically, Taiwan has been ruled and colonized by various powers, including the Dutch, the Spanish, the Chinese, and the Japanese. The Qing dynasty of China ceded Taiwan and Penghu to the Japanese Empire in 1895 following the First Sino-Japanese War. The Japanese went on to rule Taiwan for the next 50 years as the nationalists in China overthrew the Qing dynasty in 1911 and established the Republic of China. The two countries eventually went to war with each other in World War II, and with Taiwan as a part of the Japanese Empire and Republic of China as a part of the Allied powers, Taiwan has been constantly bombed by Republic of China and other allies throughout the war from 1941 to 1945. After the end of the World War II, Taiwan and Penghu were retroceded to the Republic of China. So since then, Taiwan and Penghu have technically been part of the Republic of China. However, as you may have already known, the Republic of China, led by Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek, was eventually defeated by the Chinese Communists, led by Mao Zedong in 1949, and retreated its whole government to Taiwan.
Despite having its government in Taipei and its territory on the islands of Taiwan, Penghu, Kinmen, and Matsu for almost 4 decades, this government, which is referred to as the Taiwanese government, never officially withdrew its claim to be the only legitimate Chinese government. In other words, the 21 countries that do have official diplomatic ties with Taiwan, including the Holy See, Panama, and the Dominican Republic, they recognize this Taiwanese government as the one and only Chinese government. As the People's Republic of China replaced the ROC and the United Nations in 1971, an increasing amount of nations began building diplomatic ties with the People's Republic of China, and thereby recognizing it as the only legitimate Chinese government. The United States, which was once one of the strongest allies of the ROC, also built official ties with Beijing in 1979 under the Carter administration.
Later on, as cross-strait communications resumed in the 1980s, and more Taiwanese investors moving into China, it became clear that Beijing and Taipei needed a mechanism to communicate with each other. Therefore, unofficial organizations, including the Association for Relations Across the Taiwan Strait of the PRC and the Strait Exchange Foundation of the ROC were established. And in 1992, the representatives of two organizations eventually met in Hong Kong, which was then a British colony. Even though the conference ended without an agreement, the ROC and PRC eventually came to a consensus, which was also known as the 1992 Consensus. This term, which first appeared during the presidential election in 2000, became the principle of cross-strait relations for the years to come, especially during the Ma Ying-jeou administration. It can best be summarized with the phrase, one China, respective interpretations. In other words, both sides agreed that there can only be one Chinese nation that represents mainland China, Penghu, and Taiwan, yet they still disagree on which China it refers to. Thus, it should be clarified that the modern Taiwanese independence movement, which began to emerge as a major political force in the 1990s, is actually seeking for an independence from the Republic of China instead of the People's Republic of China. Most of these independence seekers call for either a constitutional reform or a new constitution that reflects the actual status of Taiwan, so that Taiwan can be identified as a country rather than a region under the Republic of China, which is no longer recognized by the international community as the representative of China.
Cross-strait communication has halted ever since President Tsai Ing-wen of the center-left Democratic Progressive Party took office last May. The DPP has traditionally been associated with strong advocacy of a distinct Taiwan identity and, to a certain extent, Taiwanese independence. However, Tsai herself has stated on multiple occasions that she will remain the status quo in terms of cross-strait relations. Moreover, despite refusing to recognize the 1992 Consensus, she has urged Beijing to respect the existence of the Republic of China, which is indeed similar to the idea of one China, respective interpretations. If you liked our video, please hit like and share it for us.
And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe here or here.
Thank you!